Hello everyone, this is Real Life Talks with Yvonne Heath. I am your host, Yvonne Heath, obviously. I'm joined today by Michelle Emson. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Yvonne.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Such a pleasure.
I'm truly honored that you are my guest. So Michelle is a web and IT ninja, which is one reason we're friends, because I am not, and a photographer, video producer, human rights activist, and documentary filmmaker. And so I welcome you. Thank you. Yeah, so Michelle, we met, several months ago, and I loved, we were at a Chamber of Commerce event, and you walked in very proud and smiling, and I loved your energy, and I loved that you were there. And here it was, this little boony town, and in walks this beautiful presence, and I was thrilled. I truly was, and glad that we've connected. And you've educated me quite a bit over the last while, and we'll start with, tell me a little bit about your journey.
My journey, oh my goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
So really, my journey was one of purgatory. I was trapped by my gender dysphoria. So from a very young age, I knew how I felt inside. I knew that I was this vibrant woman, but growing up in a culture and a society and an environment where that wasn't understood, and with no internet, heaven forbid, back then, no research, no material, no frame of reference.
You wouldn't understand.
I didn't understand.
Society, you didn't yourself,
it wouldn't be
right?
for another 40 years would I come to understand.
My goodness, like what, so gender
Yes.
dysphoria is the word you used, and what does that mean? What did that mean
So
to
that
you?
really means that the way that you feel about yourself is not congruent with your physical appearance or your expression of your gender. So we divide these things into a couple of categories. Gender identity is between our ears. It's in our mind, it's in our brain, it's in our soul, right, in our essence. That's who we feel we are. Our gender expression is how we show up in the world, right? And so how are we perceived by other people? And how do we wish to be perceived? And how do we maybe dress, talk, and show up? And these things are not necessarily in line with one another. And in my case, it wasn't. And in my case, physically, I was born male and raised as a boy.
Right.
But in my heart and in my soul, I just knew this wasn't right. I just knew it wasn't. But I internalized it. I internalized it as something that was bad, something that was just not acceptable, and I did that for a very, very long time.
What does that feel like? I just, I can't imagine what that must feel like emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of it. It affects every aspect of your being.
Well, it does, because at the very core of your being, you're now being deceitful, right? Because for that first 40 years, I was presenting as a male because that's what society expected me to do. And so that's what I needed to do in order to be accepted.
40 years.
40 years,
Of not
actually
feeling,
nearer 50,
not feeling like you were being your
I've not
true
been my
authentic
authentic self.
Yeah.
I was not my true authentic self. And stepping into that back in 2011 was liberating beyond measure. I don't even have the vocabulary to tell you how liberating that was and how free I feel as a result, right? Despite having lost an awful lot in that journey.
Well, I was going to say, as freeing as it was, I am sure there's a price to pay.
There's a price.
But like we've talked about, it isn't a choice, isn't it? If you truly want to be internally happy, you need to be who you are.
Right.
Period. I mean, it's just who you are.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you're not being yourself and you're working very hard to make sure that sense of self is hidden, right? I needed to hide this from people I loved, from my family, from friends such as I had, not very many at that time, tons now.
Right.
And so I was not being an authentic person. And you know what? We pick up on that energy. right? People know that. They may not know why, they may not know the story, and trust me, I worked very hard to keep it from them. But people just know, right? You just know. And when you're in that position where you can finally make the move and step into your true and authentic self,
it's nothing like it.
There isn't.
Yes.
There isn't.
Well, and I know, I mean, I've gone through those, nothing compared to your journey, but, you know, when you finally say, you know what, I love my authentic weirdness. I don't care. I'm weird. Yay. I'm loud. And, you know, just being able to celebrate who you are regardless. But I know that, again, when we've spoke before, you talked, when you really realized you didn't really understand it because there wasn't any information available to you. Nobody was having those conversations. But when you realized it, at first you wanted to try to cure yourself. You wanted to cure yourself. And that just, it's painful for me to even hear, you know, because who you are, and again, you just radiate this wonderful positive energy, and you're someone that you attract people to you, because I love being in your presence, and we just talk, well, we have wonderful conversations, and we, you know, it's about living well and being your authentic self and all of this, you know, good stuff. But you wanted to find a cure. What did that journey look like for you?
Well, you need to realize too that as good as I was, right, in presenting as I did, I was happily married for over 20 years. I had 2 stepchildren, 6 grandchildren. I had the house, the career, right, all of these things.
Looked good on the outside, didn't it?
Looked great on the outside, right? It really did. On the inside, it was very, very difficult. But at the same time, actually facing up to the real possibility of losing all of that.
Awful, because you love those people.
I do, and I still do.
Yes.
And I still do.
Yes.
So I spent 2 to 3 years actually working with therapists, with research, looking for a cure.
The
cure, right? Cure me. And I would walk into my therapist sessions and I would bawl in tears and say, please just fix this. Just
so
cure
awful.
me.
Yeah.
And until I realized what the cure actually was, right? And funnily enough, I walked into my therapist's office at the end of my transition year, right? It's a process. It took a year. And I walked into the end and sort of tongue-in-cheek sat there and said, please cure me. And she just, without batting an eyelid, just said, I think we've done that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because you just became who you were.
Exactly.
So there wasn't something to cure.
No.
It was just, you know, accepting what is.
Accepting me for who I really am.
Yes.
And letting that shine, letting that come out, stepping into that power, respecting my uniqueness, right? All of it, right? Like you said earlier, you know, all of your goofiness, all of your craziness, right? Just accept that you are completely unique. Every one of us are. We've all got those individual traits that define who we are, but we're all truly unique. If we can really own that, right?
And
step into it.
And it would be so wonderful if everybody stepped back and owned their own authentic self and was truly accepting of everyone else's journey. I mean, we don't have to understand.
No.
That's okay. You don't have to understand, but you know, we all have our unique journey. It's even like when people say, well, why would someone choose to be gay? Or what I said, well, I don't really think it's a choice. It's who you are, period. I mean, it's the same as choosing not to be gay. It's just who you are. And as a society, we need to find that compassion, don't we, to just accept. And I said, you know, for me, what I care about is how you treat yourself, animals in the earth, other people, and each other. The rest is really none of my business. and you know, the color of your skin, your religion, your sexual orientation, that's irrelevant. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we all got to that wonderful spot to be the best version of ourselves and let you be the best version of yourself?
Truly.
Right? Because I can say, you know, I didn't know you in your other life, but who you are now, you self-confident, and you have so much to give, and you're just very kind and a really nice person and very interesting. what more can you ask for in a friend, right?
Well, what's interesting is for all of that time that you're hidden in this duality, right? You're spending a lot of energy, and when you release that, it is exhausting, and you know you don't then have energy to do other things. And for me, you know, coming through this, I'm now no longer thinking about it all the time as I was back then, trying to understand it, trying to unravel it. And now I have so much energy for other things.
As an advocate, what do you most want to see?
I would like to see us reach that point of acceptance.
Yes.
And for us to normalize the human condition, that we are all unique, right? I will often say that if we can come to truly accept our own uniqueness, flaws and all, because that's what makes us who we are,
absolutely,
then perhaps we can come to love and respect the uniqueness of others. That doesn't mean to say we have to be friends with everybody. It doesn't mean to say we have to get along with everybody.
Right.
It just means that I accept you for who you are. If that works in any kind of level of relationship, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's great too.
It's okay too.
Yeah.
But respect, right? I think we all are responsible to become the best version of ourselves, and that's, you know, our unique weirdness and our authentic self, but also respect for everyone else, have that same journey, and to be okay with it. You don't have to be BFFs.
No, no, you
but
don't.
I'll tell you, we'll be missing out if you don't want to be Michelle's BFF. But
Thank you.
But it's an important message for everyone, because at the end of the day, we are all unique and we're all here, right?
Yep.
That is, our world is full of people. Diversity is beautiful and wonderful. I don't want everyone to be the same. How boring is that? I mean, really? Totally boring.
Totally boring.
So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for becoming your authentic self, for sharing your message, for being willing to be out there and sharing this. And I know that you are very passionate about change. You are very passionate. And again, all it is about is kindness, respect, and being your authentic self.
Yep.
Yes, and you are doing a heck of a great job.
Thank you.
So thank you so much.
Thank you
I really
so much.
appreciate that you're here. Thank you. So next we will have Julie Veitch, personal success coach. She will join us after the break. We'll see you after. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm here with Julie Veitch. Hello Julie.
Hi Yvonne, how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. So Julie is a personal success coach and owner and founder of Inner Core Coaching. And I have to say that your whole journey, I know about we've had many conversations, and your journey is quite amazing, and welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad to be able to share it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did before you became a personal success coach, and we'll go from there.
Sure. I spent 20 years as a career coach, and I think that those skills and that experience really naturally morphed into starting my own private practice and became a personal success coach. And that's what I do now.
Which is so, yes, I love it.
I left my full-time 16-year career after 16 years.
It's a leap of faith, isn't it?
Launched into my own private practice last year and never ever looked back.
Yes, so. Incredible. Well, as you know, we were speaking to Michelle about being your authentic self. You were wonderful as a career coach, but there was kind of something you knew that more you wanted to do. And you know, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, why do we need success coaches? Why do we need life coaches? All of these coaches, why do we? So explain why you think and feel very passionate about what you do. Why do we need coaches?
I feel passionate about having a person to guide and support and create a space for us to really just look a little bit deeper. And through my years as a career coach, people always arrived with employment questions and concerns, and around the employment is always something more, because our career is only an expression of the full potential of who we are. It's just an expression of our purpose. And sometimes it's really difficult to identify and to pinpoint what that more meaningful purpose of our lives is without an objective eye. And the power of coaching is really something that opens doors to into our inner core. And inner core was born from my desire to look deeper and to really honor the authentic truth of who I am, and that's what I support people to do. So
absolutely. Well, and it's funny because when people think, well, why would we need a coach? And I think, well, how are we doing? You know, there's so many people that achieve success as we see it in society. Maybe they have money, they have the car, but they're unsettled, and they don't feel that, you know, internal happiness. And so is that really success, right? And you help them get to that place where they feel maybe the outside matches the inside. Again, kind of like Michelle's message, right?
Yes.
It should match.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that our culture really conditions us for our entire lifetime to seek success externally and to look and chase after the elusive things. And when I get that thing, I'll be happy. When I get that job, when I find that perfect relationship, that soulmate, when I get that pair of jeans, then I'll be happy. And you know, that's something that we're conditioned to as a distraction to avoid the pain of having less. And so, you know, we seek all of these things in order to take the sting away from loss. And you know, when we actually learn to experience success in a different way, we can connect with a part of ourselves that is much larger than ourselves, and we can begin to experience what's really, truly, authentically sustainable. And we can turn the definition of success on its head to it being a feeling, not a thing. And when we can start feeling that joy more often and more sustainably, we can begin to recover from those curveballs in life a lot more swiftly and a lot faster, because we've got this baseline feeling that we can always turn to. It's like coming down here today. I was late, I was in a snowstorm, but there's this baseline feeling of it's still going to be okay. I'm still okay. And so there's a real shift that happens, and it happens in the coaching space when we start to question and redefine the meaning of success for ourselves.
Yeah, that's so important. And one thing in our society is what we're so busy. And I think when, you know, truly a coach, a mentor is just creating that space. And I think that, you know, when we're on this road to success, we're driven, we forget, okay, wait a minute, am I happy internally? And does this match who I am? And is this really what I want? And, you know, I went through the same thing thinking, I've been a nurse for 27 years. Of course I'll be one forever, but there was something calling me, and so it creates that space to listen to what am I passionate about, or what is happiness and success. But what you're saying is creating that feeling, because change is the only constant. Life is unpredictable. So if your success is attached to that job or that, you're kind of risking losing it, because, you know, that can change in a heartbeat.
Well, I think all of us have experienced this, where within 24 hours of achieving something or getting the thing, that we find ourselves feeling empty again. And,
exactly.
you know, we're still looking, and we're still seeking out there.
Out there, not internally.
Not leaning into the inner core of who we really are. Yeah.
And you had to do a lot of your own work and create a lot of space, because before your career as a career coach, your childhood and things that you went through with your sister, it was not an easy journey to get to where you are. And I love who you are today. Just like Michelle, you radiate energy and positivity, and you are so passionate about helping other people. But tell us a little bit about the journey from your childhood and what led to this.
Sure. So yeah, you're absolutely right, and I believe that everything that occurred in my life was as a preparation for being here now. I grew up in a very, very volatile home, and that led me to having this chronic chaos inside, this anxiety, and I didn't know how to get rid of the anxiety. And so, you know, I distracted myself with friends and partying and just pretty well being unconscious about, you know, what the world and what was around me. And then at 25, my sister was diagnosed as HIV positive as a result of a tainted blood transfusion. Right. And that was a huge wake-up call, because there was no remedy in that time for furthering or, you know, lengthening one's life.
It was a death
diagnosed.
sentence.
It was a death sentence.
Yes.
So we knew she was going to die. And I experienced 10 years of anticipatory grief. It's when my hair went white.
Yes, you said your hair went white overnight.
5 years. It took 5 years.
Yeah, but just
from salt and pepper to white. It's pretty white right now. And and just, you know, so inside this grief, I felt like I came to a choice point, and it was actually my sister who stood before me and said, Julie, you know, you have a chance here to do something with your life and to really make a difference and have impact. And you can choose to wake up or to ignore it. And she demanded that I wake up, because she said, I can't, you can. I'm going to die, you're not. So I embarked on a spiritual journey that lasted. I'm still on it. It's never done. I worked. I learned to do yoga. I learned to meditate. I learned a lot of mindfulness practices. I worked with a Swami for 14 years privately, and I came to a point where I decided to what I learned. Let me just say that what I learned was that there was no escaping my emotions and my grief. And so I decided to give into the pain and to grieve fully. And I remember, you know, actually every Friday night I would turn on a song that I knew would make me cry, because on the other side of those tears was this relief, was this freedom. So I taught myself to fully feel,
and
I learned that it was okay, and in fact essential.
It is essential.
Yes.
It's huge grief to anticipatory grief for 10 years. And I mean, it's huge, but we don't like to feel it, right? So we push it away.
We distract ourselves. And now, and I little did I know that the inner core system was being created back then.
Yes.
But that is what the system is taking my clients through a process of, you know, uncovering the emotional blocks that cause pain and moving through those emotions, because emotions are energy in motion. They just want to move. And so when we create a space for them to exist, when we acknowledge them, and when we assist them in moving, a new space gets created and energy starts to flow, and our vitality comes back, and creativity and inspiration and ideas and insights, and our vision becomes clear, and we can really step into the authentic places
Right.
for ourselves, but we can't do it when our emotions are stuck and they
Stuck.
live in our body somewhere in our
Absolutely.
cells.
And wreak havoc if you
And
just keep them in there.
They
right?
can cause illness
Yep.
and
Yeah.
a lot of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So moving from chaos to calm is really something that became my purpose. I didn't really know it, and I didn't really have words for that until I started to do this coaching and realized that many people were suffering from this chronic anxiety.
Right.
And had glimpses of calm in their life, but not necessarily in a sustainable way.
You've given me this wonderful tool that takes no time at all, and I'd like you to share it, and we should do it because stop, breathe, right? Be here now. So what should people do in the chaos if they only have a moment? You can go into the bathroom at work, you can go to the side, even at your desk. What can they do?
Well, first of all, recognize that their body is in chaos, and it's really easy to do that by recognizing that you're tight, your shoulders are tight, your arms are crossed, your jaw is clenched. Just allowing the body's intelligence to tell you that you are in internal anxiety. And close your eyes and stop and breathe, which brings you back into your body, out of your head and into your body. So stop, breathe, and simply be here now.
I love that because you can do that in 10 seconds.
Takes us completely out of the future or the past and brings us into this very moment where we can just stop, breathe, and be here now.
Stop, breathe, be here now. I
Yep.
can't thank you enough. We could talk all day,
Yes, we
but
could.
I love your coaching. I think
Thank
everyone should
Thank
check out Inner Core Coaching. And of course, you're happy to chat with people about what you do. And you are creating the change you want to see in the world. And I thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Yvonne, for
so
having me.
I'm so happy that you made it through the snowstorm.
Same here.
So thank you everyone for joining us in this episode of Real Life Talks. And this is my friend Julie Veitch. Stop, breathe, be here now. And whoops, sorry, John. My word of advice, plan your life, plan your death, and then just love your life to death. And always bring your own tambourine to the party. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.